Today everybody, in this video I will give you a short introduction in the QGIS plugin geoCore that was developed by the T-System On-Site Services GmbH and the Lower Saxon Institute for Historical Coastal Research in Wilhelmshaven. And the aim was to create these kind of graphical representations of corings like you see on this slide in QGIS, and when you have more than one of these, and when you have more than one core, that you bring them together to profiles. So the idea was to have a very flexible plugin, because we want to give everybody the possibility to implement its own definitions and signatures, because it's very difficult when you work together with different disciplines. So in our case we have different columns. So petrography, Fahrzeugskala, formations and group, as you can see it here, and how that works in the plugin I will show you now. So at first you need a table that looks like that one, and in this table are all the single corings. So you have the x coordinate, y coordinate, z coordinate, and a name and an identifier. And it doesn't matter if it's a CSV file or shapefile or if it's directly from the database. So you need it as a layer in QGIS. And you have this config YML. That's a file in the plugin folder, we'll show you later on. And there you can define your column names. The idea was that maybe you have own definition in your institute, in your university, how x coordinate, y coordinate, and z coordinate is named in all the tables. So you don't have to change it all the time. So the table you can change it one time in this config YML. Same for the dataset that belongs to the corings, and that is defined by underscore data in its layer name. You have the identifier here, it's connected to the identifier here, and then you have layer number, you have petrography, and all the stuff I showed you before, and the depths. And the same, you can define all the column names in these config.yml. Or you can change all the time your header. The second file that's very important for the plugin is the geoCore YML. This is separated in so-called boxes, descriptions, ratios, and colors. And how that works I will show you now. So the definition, the first one is boxes, and that belongs to the petrography column. And it's meant the letter or the word or whatever that is in front of the brackets. And here in our case it's defined as a cent with a width of 1.5. So this is 0.51, 1.5, and this is the width of this box. So the box is the box has cent in its descriptions and the width of 1.5. And like here, that's a very simple definition, but you can write there everything you like to write. You can define it in this YML. If you don't define it, then you don't have a box, or then you have a very small box, and there's no translation of the word in front. So it's written here directly only S in this case. The second part is the description. The description is the stuff inside of the brackets. So in this case U4, it's very silty, and it's written here. And hopefully soon implemented is also the possibility to have an SVG file in the plugin folder, and then you have the representation of your description inside of the box when it's imported, like this is wood or shells or something like that. The next column is color. That's very easy because the color it's U for green or grün, and you have a hash code here, and this will make the color inside of the boxes. But also in this case, it doesn't matter what's written here. You can also write there the description from the number color charts, then the long name here, and the hash code of the number color, and then it will translate it to the color. But at first, I will show you the Git repo of geoCore, because there's an example data folder, and there you can download the example data you will use now. And if you have some problems, if there's a bug, you can create a new issue. And how does it work when you have more than one profile? Then you can select all of them, push the button, and then you get a profile like that. And that's not fitting very fine, so I go again to scale, and then I'll change it to something like that, for example. And then I can export it as I like to. So this is how it works. It's very easy. And now you can go to the user folder, and then you go to Python and to plugins. Then you have geoCore and the config file, and at first here's the config.yml. That looks like that. As I told you, in my case, it's defined a little bit different here. And the geoCore YML is here. And there you can define all your description and boxes and files and whatever. The only thing is when you will do an update of the plugin in QGIS, you have to save these files in a different place at first, because if not, they will be resetted to the default. And here you will find the symbols.